Hello, friends. So I know I would take a break from YouTube for a week in my last video, but I lied. So I'm back. Couldn't sleep, so I figured I would share a thought that I had with you, and it is about vampires. Okay, I recently have seen this movie called Abigail. It's about a vampire. It's been alive for 200 years in the form of a little ballerina. I'm assuming she's the child of Vlad, the Impaler, Dracula. Um, when it comes to vampire lore, I am very interested into all the different mediums, be it from Nosferatu, be it from True Blood, which is a very amazing HBO show. It went on for like 6 seasons. Be it Anne Rice and Interview with the Vampire and Lestat and all that. Be it from dusk to till dawn. And then there's another hidden gem, which is the Lost Boys, of course. And what is the other one? From Dusk to Dawn, the Lost Boys, and well, two of them. You have Fear Street. So the one I like the remake actually with the actor that passed away, and then I also Barlow from Stephen King. So and vampire mediums. I don't mention Twilight. Twilight is Vampire Diaries. Believe it or not, I actually did watch uh, the first couple seasons. I didn't watch the spin-offs with the Immortals or whatever. But those days I was bored, I was young. It was hip to, vampires were all hip and cool and stuff like that. But yeah, what are vampires to me? I think vampires, if they were going to be real and exist in this world, would feed off your your life force through psychic energy. Um, would you believe me if I told you that I've tasted blood before? I won't tell you how, okay? But I'll tell you that I have tasted blood before. It's has a almost tastes like a coin, an iron taste to it. Uh, Very alluring. When I mean alluring, I mean like uh, it's like it's like putting a spice in your mouth that you never experienced before, or you know, has a very distinct texture, flavor, and yeah. So obviously, I've tasted my own blood from fights and whatever. You Vampires, though, when I think of them, I just finished this movie, and they're locked away, locked in this house of this vampire. And how would you survive? How would you survive a vampire? Well, I find one reoccurring theme when it comes to vampires, which is they're always arrogant. They're always overconfident. Now, if you can use that arrogance and overconfidence to your advantage, because you got to think they've been around for hundreds, centuries, hundreds of years. In some different mediums, they've been around for thousands of years. Generally, the rule of thumb is older the vampire, um, the more power it has. John Carpenter's Vampires is another hidden gem, by the way. So you would use their arrogance, their cockiness, their when you believe that you could not be destroyed against them. So what I think I would do would be I would set up a series of traps, lure them in by challenging them. So, for example, I would use my own mortality. Like, so they prey off of fear, right? Fear is what is fun to them. Deprive them of that. Um, Bluff them. If you're gonna go out anyways, go out defiant. Lure them. Make them use a mistake. Okay, and then you could go through your different weapons, different kind of ingredients. Garlic, which I don't believe works. Uh, Crosses, crucifixes. I think if that does work, you'd have to be a believer. Um, Three, silver, which is in true blood. Another one would be holy water, blessed water. Of course, stake through the heart is always the decapitation, fire, things like that. I think the best way to go would be to do a Assassin's Creed and have yourself. I would build myself a little wrist, uh, thing that when I flick it, my a spike comes out from underneath it, kind of like Ezio. What's his name from Assassin's Creed? So yeah, you get him, you taunt him, you be arrogant, you show no fear, you get him to lower your guard, you challenge him, you play off their curiosity. So you say, okay, I have a riddle for you, or okay, I challenge you this, just to get them to lower the guard, just to get in close, just to get for that killing blow, that that strike. Now, of course, they might be able to perceive time a lot faster than you ever can. So you're gonna have to have a contingency plan. So another contingency would be, um, I would I would put silver in my mouth. All right, so put some silver, like particles. All right, a little bit of that, maybe gold, holy water. Keep that a little bit in my mouth, right? But don't say anything. Keep it right there where you can still speak. Spit in the face, and then use that into the eyes. If it works, then hey, you have a few seconds. Then you take the stake. Um, if not, I would. I would go. I guess I would have to go Blade and challenge him to a sword fight. uh, so right now in Vietnam, it is going on. I don't know, 2 a.m. Can you guess what I'm reading? The Warhammer 40K books. I am very pleased and excited to say that I have recently gotten possession of new Warhammer material. So I have some new books. Uh, I got very lucky by finding them, and these ones are some real gems. Now, can you believe that the collection that 5 years ago that I started, these books, right? These they come in the omnibuses. Um, they've marked up now to going for like $200 for. I have like I'm missing like 6, but I have like 15 of them. There's probably like I don't know. If I was to try to find all of them together, I would say there's probably 30, and I have 3/4 of them. But the ones I don't have are each a couple $100 on Amazon, which is just insane. If you want to, and it's like how you want to complete that, your collection. You have to complete your collection, and to do that, it's just like, hey, you're gonna have to save up a book collection. What good is a book collection if you can't read it, or if you don't read it because you don't want to hurt your books? Books to me are just this, like my collection over there. You see it by the lights? It's this peaceful feeling of just no matter how upset or sick or whatever problems I might have in my life, I just feel a book. I could just grab one of my novels and just revel in the fact that I have collected this and I have, curated this through the years. I brought a half a suitcase full of my books, with me to the other side of the world when most people would have bring clothes. I brought 2 outfits because I was poor, and I just brought my books. If you ask me what is my number one hobby that I miss from being in America, well, not number one. number one would probably be like riding my CBR 600RR or my Mustang, you know, my Roush Mustang GT Stage 1 modified, all my fast vehicles. But I have a 2004 CBR 600RR undertail exhaust, aluminum gears. It's stretched. This thing is a beast. It has its tune kit. Being able to actually just race motorcycles on the higher ones. But I miss going to Barnes and Nobles, Borders, bookstores. Now they have them. They have used books here, like in the old quarter of Hanoi, or little small gyms you'll find. But like those big bookstores where you just sit and you find a new book. I have like a whole collection of sci-fi, fantasy, and that feeling of choosing a book. Like I can only afford one because they're always expensive. They're always like $20. For example, this one right here when I bought it was 21 US dollars. $21 for this but it's this right and this book right here, by the way, you can't even find this cover. And the other covers are going for like $300, no joke. I have, like, if I was to sell my collection, thousands of dollars probably. Of course, I would never sell them. And another thing, the bad thing that happened was there was a flood back in like 2022, and my books got wet. So my books that are in perfect, condition got water stains, which is heartbreaking. So I have some books that are complete, and I have some that have water stains, and I have other ones that are red and they're wrinkled on the side, and it's just I just I want a complete library of Warhammer Fantasy and 40K, a whole complete library of just books. And when I finally have a fireplace and a chair, I have an office. When I say office, like my office will just be a nice, you know, leather recliner with a typewriter where I can write. I want to be a writer myself. That is my ultimate goal in life. I do believe that I'm starting to realize, like, I'm starting to get a little bit closer to what I want to do. Writing, being an author, trying to put and create either an inspiring story about my life through either an autobiography or through a fictional character that goes through some of the trials, or through some of my fantasy characters that I've created when I was a kid. I have all kinds of ideas about things. I could do self-help things. I could do things about just theoretical, you know. I have many ideas. Mostly, though, fantasy, sci-fi. I dream of worlds that are so uniquely special that I don't say it because I don't want someone to steal my idea. But I don't know. I don't know if I have the writing. I'm a very good writer, but there's a difference between being able to write and then being able to write in such detail to paint a picture into a reader's mind that could, like, for example, if I wanted to paint a picture of, okay, my book opens and I'm explaining a man wakes up and he looks around his surroundings, okay? And first thing I would talk about is the sensation of the cold across his skin. So you would spend a good paragraph talking about how the winter reminds him of, yeah, of a home, of a life that he has forgotten. He knows that he's used to it, but he can't remember why. He reaches for the snow. It melts as it touches his skin. There's a comfort, a relaxation, or almost a pleasure as he witnesses it, and he still can't remember. The man looks up at the sky, a abyss of gray and purple swirls that move in, a chaotic pattern that if you were to look at too long would drive a lesser man crazed. It seems that the sky is always shifting, always moving, always changing, yet stays the same. He looks around and across in every direction is just this haze, and this twilight. But the man feels, he feels a, you see how I'm just trying to like use like descriptors, and it's just, it's the middle of the night, so it's not the best, I know. But I need to like get that kind of language. That's the kind of language that like authors like this can use. That can really paint a picture, that can humanize even villains, or just talk about, a, like, if you want to challenge yourself as a writer, can you write a story that paints a picture of, for example, the room you're in? You can't just say there is a white wall, there is a blue bed with a blanket. No, you need to, like, what does it feel like? How does it make you feel to be in it? What does it remember? What memories flood your mind? What does it inspire you? What is the energy? What is it? Like, you need to be able to, and then you need to be able to do a unique way that is your style. For example, authors like Stephen King have a very unique style in the way they describe, versus people like R.L. Stein. If you think back to the Goosebump books, who was able to write in a way that was uh, digestible for youth, but still give them a scare, but in a fun kind of way, versus somebody like Anne Rice, um, or one of my favorite authors, what's his C. C.L. Warner. He wrote some of the 40K books. The ones he wrote was Bruno the Bounty Hunter, and he wrote Witch Hunter. So the Witch Hunter for the Warhammer Fantasy. So C.L. Warner, if you look him up. W. Warner, E. Warner, R.N.E.R., something like that. C. L. Warner. Look up his work. Brilliant. Second best author, I would say, is Aaron Bowden Damaski, who did Night Lords. Now there's a new 40K book called The Rise and the Fall, which is it's the Siege of Terra novels, talking about the Horus Heresy, about the assault on the palace of the Emperor, about Horus's betrayal, about the Blood Angels, and Sanguinius, um, Sanguinius, his duel against his brother, and just, yeah, it is so poetic. It's so beautiful. So, anyways, though, I think I'm gonna listen to an Audible. I don't. There is a few books that I want, but I can't get here in Vietnam. So maybe I'll order an Audible, because you can get a free sample. And there's one book that I'd like to read. It's called Queen of Knives. It's about the dark elf Lilith Spriggs, or whatever her name is. So, anyways, I guess this is the last video for a while, because I can't sleep and I just need to talk about books. I love books. Books make my life complete. I wish I had a mountain of books, and my Warhammer books, my Star Wars books. I have books scattered around, but if I could ever just collect it, and if I ever had my own place, and that I knew that it was secure and permanent, and that I could just proudly display it, I would just never leave my library. I would spend my days typing, writing, studying, creative writing, taking more classes, and I would get published. I would publish something. That is a life goal that I will do. So I am, in my 40s, 30s or 40s, I'll just say that. I'm going to say by 50, I want to be published. So we'll see if it happens. Bye-bye.